Good evening and welcome to Chatbox with Sam. Tonight's guest is actor, director, producer Michael D. Anglin. Hello Michael, how are you?
Hello. Hello, everybody.
I've seen you all over Facebook and you've worked with Creek Wilson and quite a few other people on Cedar Creek. I know you've done a lot of directing. You were very into writing music when you were 7.
Well, I come from a family of musicians, so I started when I was 7 writing songs, and then I gravitated towards the drums, but that's what I did for years. I played drums in touring bands and wrote music, and that was my creative outlet until, I wanted to expand my songwriting, started turning into movies, and then when the big movie industry boomed down here in about year 2013, that was an opportunity and a door open for me to expand what I was doing and get into that avenue of things. So I've been doing that since and haven't looked back. I've loved every minute of it. So.
Oh wow, yes, because you play the piano and you did get into movies, and you've played in a lot of movies and TV series, and you've directed a lot, like Cedar Creek. Inspired you into the industry in the beginning?
Well, what got me in the industry actually is when as I said, I was a touring drummer for 23 years, and at the end of that, I had damaged my ears to the point where I couldn't tour anymore. Yeah. So I was looking for something else, and I don't know what happened. It was like a week later, I get this text on my phone. I think I had signed up for something online because the movie industry had just started down here. I signed up for something online, still don't remember what it was, but I got a text asking me if I wanted to be a prison guard in a movie with Will Ferrell and Kevin Hart. And I thought it was a joke, but I called the number back and pursued it, and it was the movie Get Hard. I don't know if you remember that, Will Smith and Kevin Hart. So I played a prison guard in that movie. I started out doing the background thing, and once I was there, I was just captivated. And I write songs. I've been writing stories all of my life, so I'm gonna write scripts and I'm gonna bring them to life. I want to direct. I have this vision for this. I want to make these stories come to life,
and you certainly do that, Michael. I've seen your photographs on Facebook and the effects. I just saw the latest one with the smoke in the air. I know. It's absolutely fantastic and fascinating to watch. Absolutely.
It's a long battle of learning and, making mistakes. But now we're to the point, Cedar Creek is the latest film I just finished just picture wrapped on. We're about to jump into editing, but that's going to be my next feature. And like I said, that Creek Wilson's in that one, and you'll a lot of other local actors that are
Chase Waters.
Yeah, I just finished a movie on the coast with Corin Nimmick and Jason London, and all the guys. I had a small part in that. I did acting for the longest time, and that was for a while, that was my thing of choice. That's what I wanted to do. But I've lately got more into the just filmmaking aspect of, cinematography, directing, and doing the writing, and just being, writing and doing the whole thing. But I'll still jump into acting. I don't do it through an agent anymore. I did that for a while. The last thing I did was the PURGE, the TV series.
Oh, right, yes.
I had a small role in that was really, really awesome. But my passion is writing and directing and bringing a movie to life, just filmmaking, So that's where.
Awesome.
But I'll always jump into acting if someone, especially, Corin called me and I wasn't going to say no. He's like, I got this part for you. So I was there,
Yes, so you were a director of Consequences in 2019.
First, Consequences was my second feature, and now Cedar Creek is my third. So.
Right, yeah, I did want to focus more on the films that you've been directed with, because I saw that you've been in films with like Hal Berry, Nicolas Cage. I know if you've been shorts or just small parts, I think it all makes a difference. It's just the experience, as you said, and you prefer to be filmmaking. If you were to inspire the younger generation, what would be your main focus?
To inspire the to tell stories. I mean, that's my biggest thing. It's like, whatever your passion is just get out there and do it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be afraid of the voice in your head telling you not to do things. You get one life. You get out there and just do what your passion is. My passion is filmmaking. I want to tell stories. That's what I love to do. That's what wakes me up in the morning. So that's my biggest advice, is just don't be afraid and don't listen to those little insecurity voices in your head, and just get out there and do it, and take the bull by the horns.
Take the bull by the horns. That's a good analogy. I like that. So what about the younger generation? I read somewhere that it can be quite daunting. How would you guide them to protect them in the industry?
Well, I think the younger generation, they're growing up in the social media aspect of the world, and that world can be really cruel.
Yes.
It has its benefits, but it also can deter people a lot, because everyone has a voice and everyone can say whatever they want to say, no matter how bad or good it is. And you can't take that too seriously. I grew up with no social media, so I can take it all with a grain of salt. So I would say, don't let any outside voices, don't let social media rip you down. Just go out there and do what you want to do and live your dreams, and don't be held back by, social media and what society, there's always going to be people that's going to try to drag you down, because a lot of people are afraid to live their own dreams. And, so I just say, ignore all of that. Keep your blinders on, do what you need to do, focus on what you love to do.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
I like your 2 cents. Things that can be said on social media can be so damaging. People forget how to use their words. There's no need to be cruel to anyone, whether you agree or you don't. There's got to be a tact, and there's got to be behind that them words is a person, and you don't know what they're going through. So I advise everybody to, think before you speak, even though you're annoyed about something or you're really happy about something. If you're not in the same room as that person, be careful what you say.
100%. I agree with that every step of the way. It's like, and that's a good example of how something can start and spread worldwide and be totally untrue and just damage anything that, it could take a whole career away from somebody.
Or $15 million.
Yeah.
That would ouch you, wouldn't it?
That would sting a little. But.
Yeah. So yes, just please be kind. I promote kindness, and that's what my show is about, showing how we're similar and yet uniquely different. And be kind. And even when it comes to politics, please, I don't know how you feel about it, but allow someone a difference of opinion, even if you don't agree with it.
And build people up instead of always trying to tear them down. It's just, that's another trend that's going on. And I think it goes along with, how people feel about themselves, because when someone else is miserable, they want everyone else to be miserable too. Mm-hmm. So there's just a whole lot of dragging each other down, and like you said, I agree with everything you said. Be kind to each other and just build each other up instead of trying to break, tear each other down all the time. So.
Have you had any involvement in the theatre?
When I was young, I did the school plays and stuff like that. That's about the extent of it. I did the school plays in school, like Pinocchio and Tom Sawyer and stuff. But I've never, as an adult, I've never done the theater side of it. Like I said, I was a touring musician for 23 years. I come from a family of musicians. My dad was a musician who toured all of his life. My aunts were like big gospel singers that toured around. So that was where I mean, as old, from as young as I can remember, I'm sitting around watching my family just, play music and going to live shows, and just
Oh, awesome.
that was basically my start. So I mean, music and songwriting, and songwriting and storytelling is, I mean, that's basically it's the same thing. It's it's compressed into 3 minutes, versus 2 hour movie or whatever. But that's where my love of storytelling started. It developed from music, and still everything to me, music is still everything to me. I hear, I do all, I do all of the music for my movies. I work with someone, we do that.
Really?
It's just everything to me. It's my passion.
If there was no music, it's the same as having no writer, because it emphasizes on the moment.
Yes, it brings out those emotions.
Yes.
Happening in every aspect of every moment. And it just,
yes.
I mean, music can make or break a movie, I mean.
Yes.
Imagine the movie Jaws without that concept.
If it's just a fish swimming in the water, minding its own business.
Yeah.
Here I am, looking for fish.
Or even the movie Halloween without that haunting melody.
I know.
It's just those things. Everything comes together, and that's my love of just, I guess that's why I love filmmaking, because it's like putting together this big, huge puzzle,
Yeah.
From music to the scenes to editing it all together and just telling the story. I just love every bit of it. So.
Well, I remember watching a skit on social media, and it was John Travolta singing Grease Lightning, and there was no music, just them. And it looked completely different. He was comical.
I live in a place that's very prone to hurricanes and storms and things like that.
In Mississippi.
So it's like every time something like that happens, it brings people together, and you get to see humanity again. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of it goes back to being the way it was. But
it does. So yes, I know I've been in Biloxi and Ocean Springs. I've been there a couple of times, so it's very, 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 very nice. I like it. And I know there's a scare about going in the ocean there, because it's not like the regular ocean.
Well, I've never been a big ocean guy. I mean, I like to stay on the beach, but yeah, I think I grew up in the wrong generation of movies with like Jaws and Piranha and all that. Get on the beach. I'll stay away from the water. Everyone else can go swimming. I'm good with that.
That's okay. What's your hobbies you'll go to, other than the industry?
I mean, honestly, I'm a pretty boring person. Those are the things that kind of, if I'm not at home.
How can you be boring? You write, you love music, you love film. That's not boring.
I guess hobby-wise, those are really the only things that, I guess those things fill up my hours, between writing music or just sitting at home playing my drums or writing a new script or learning, new camera movements or just, whatever it is. Those are the things that pretty much has me busy from the moment I wake up till I go to sleep. So it's like, if you're in my world and you're not into any of those things, you'd be like, this guy, he's a one-track mind. He's kind of boring.
You're very focused in your hobbies and your work, and that's okay. It's like a jigsaw puzzle with all different pieces, and we all make it work,
Now, I would say I'd like to go to the movies, but then that's kind of along the same thing. So
have you got any projects coming up that you are able to speak about?
Like I said, I just finished Cedar Creek. We picture wrapped that. I'm about to go into editing on that.
Mm-hmm. Where will people be able to watch that?
I'm gonna pitch it to a bunch of streaming services at first to see, what we get with it, with distribution and all once it's finished. So, hopefully everywhere. But
that'll be great.
definitely Amazon Prime and,
Netflix.
hopefully Netflix. Yeah. Netflix is a big one. If we can land that distribution, that's our biggest goal next. Other than that, I'm working on a short film now, written by a good friend of mine, Fiona McQuinn. It's called Earth Beneath Me, and it's gonna be. I'm having a wonderful time filming this. It's such a heart-wrenching story about these kids. I don't know how much I can say. It's basic. It's just a very heartwarming story about relationships and these young kids. And we're about halfway through with that one now, and it's gonna be a great story. I can't wait to get it out there.
Just don't say any more than what a synopsis would.
And then I'm always working with my friend John Armijo. Me and him get together, and he does this cops parody. It's called Flops.
Oh, I think I read that on your IMDb.
And film his little episodes of that, and that's always fun. That's the ones you've probably seen with the crazy lighting and the smoke and the dramatic.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I work on with him. I filmed that for him, and it's some really funny stuff. So I'm always working on something. And with Cedar Creek editing, there's quite a few special effects, and
awesome.
Basically, it's a horror story, but it's wrapped around a very dramatic story of a child who's suffering from the loss of his father and dealing with being bullied in school. And so, I mean, it's a horror movie, but it also it goes much deeper than that. It's also a little kid who's suffering through life. He's dealing with a very tough time in school, being bullied. He has a new stepdad that's a nightmare. So he's kind of dealing with kind of all around him, and then there's a supernatural element that comes in that he thinks is going to help him out, and it ends up coming full circle that the answers were within him the whole time. So it's a very, very interesting story, and it's one of the best things I've ever written, and I can't wait to get it out there. It's going to be it's so good. There's a lot of heartfelt moments, and at the same time there's the horror and psychological elements for those that like that kind of stuff. So it's one of my favorite things I've done. So
of all the charities that are in the world, which one would you choose to advocate for? Not necessarily donate, but advocate for, and why?
I mean, it goes back to me. I guess the way I grew up, I would say abused children, or children that have to grow up, with that kind of pain and just suffering, and just that's something that touched my life, and a reason that I write the way that I do in a lot of things, because I dealt with that when I was a child. So I mean, that to me is like the biggest, it's the biggest. I would be the biggest advocate for that kind of charity, and always am. I talk to people all the time that have gone through that, especially children I've worked with, and that go through that kind of suffering. And it's just, to me, that's
horrific.
It's horrific. It's very horrific, and there is a strength that grows out of that, but it's just unnecessary. And I guess that would be my number one. Any charity in the world is to stop that, stop the abuse.
Yes.
Not have to deal with that pain.
To stop the abuse, you'd have to stop mental health issues, and that's the biggest challenge in this world right now.
We're seeing a lot of violence, and the
shootings.
School shootings that we're seeing is. It has to start in the house. It has to start. There are mental health issues to where perfectly healthy people do some dastardly things, but 9 times out of 10, it starts in the house. If you have 2 parents that are, that pay attention to your child, I bet the problem today is it's harder to make a living. So usually both parents are working, to try to make ends meet, and the kids are kind of left on their own to deal with themselves. And it's just those, they're not getting the attention and the values that they used to get.
I just interviewed a guy from he was on Guardians of the Galaxy, Tom Proctor, and I brought my son into the interview because he loves that show. He loves the Marvels. So I said, do you mind if I bring my son in, just say hello, just to include him so he doesn't always feel left out? And he didn't mind. And there was two people. I interviewed a girl from Family Guy, and he came in and met her, and it made him feel special. And that's what it's about. That's just spending moments of time with them. So allocating time to them, for them. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a lot of what's missing right now. And I think that's where, everything's going wrong. So it's
you have to balance. Yeah, you have to balance. So people can find you on social media. I know you're on Facebook, Michael Anglin. Michael D. Anglin. What's the D?
Darren, actually, is my middle name.
Is that Darren or AN?
IN, actually.
Really? Well, that's different. I've never heard it spelled like that. Is that French?
Well, I started using my middle name because when I created my IMDb, there was already another Michael Anglin, and there's like several musician Michael Anglins, and it was just like, so I had to do that to even open an IMDb page. So I started using the D to separate from the other Michael Anglin, whoever this guy is.
Well, I'm Samantha Sheldon 3 on there, and it's funny because I put in Michael Anglin when I was researching you, and I went, I'm going to try the D, and it worked. Michael D. Anglin.
Also, Drummer 71 Productions on Facebook is my other page. That's the name of my production company, Drummer 71 Productions. So.
Okay, so people should look up for that as well. Drummer 71 Productions. Are you on Instagram or Twitter?
I am on Instagram. I am actor Anglin 71 on Instagram.
Awesome.
The same for Twitter. It's actor Anglin 71 on Twitter as well.
Okay.
Now I don't go on Twitter a whole lot. I'm on there.
Oh, you need to. That's where they all are.
Yeah, I hang out on there a little bit, but it just seems like it's always squabbling and fighting.
Politics.
Yeah.
Well, just stay away from the politics and then you'll be okay.
Exactly.
Just hashtag everything, to do with film, and something will, follow they're all talking about the algorithm right now. I'm like, oh God, I don't even look at that. But,
promote movies and stuff like that, and then I just kind of log off. So I'm there to, I'll promote for a little while, and then
Then you leave.
It's a little bit more civil on Facebook. It's getting rough there too. So
yes, it is. You just got to ignore it. So do you like traveling, Michael?
I do love traveling. That's, like I said, back in my music days, that's all I did was travel around the country in a van with 4 other smelly guys. And
did you have the Old Spice deodorant or something different?
Old Spice, whatever. They were called rock star showers because you came to a truck stop, you splashed water on you, and threw the broom on, and that was your shower for the day.
Wow. Have you ever been outside the country?
Yes. I've been to Moscow. I've been to Guadalajara, Mexico. Been out of the country quite a bit, but mostly, I've been everywhere in this country as far as, when I was playing music and promoting, and pretty much everywhere.
I think it's good to travel outside of your own born country, because then you can experience other cultures and appreciate them, Yes. So I like that. So have you got any last words for your viewers? Anything that you would like to say to them?
I guess it would be along the lines of, like I said earlier, just let's lift each other up. Let's promote each other, especially in this film world. I mean, in the indie film world, we all count on each other to, promote each other and get our names out there. And just, it's not a competition. It's all about the love in your heart of making movies and telling stories and getting out there and just living your passion. I never view it as a competition at all. Like, to me, it's just, I can learn from anyone, and I think that anyone can learn from anyone. And it's just about living your passion and getting out there and doing it and just doing what you love and try to be happy. There's enough negativity in the world. There's enough of being miserable that we don't need to bring each other down. Let's lift each other up. So
if this was the last time you were ever going to speak to someone, what would you say?
We get one life and that's it. Like, do you want to wake up every morning and be miserable and worry about what everyone else is doing? Or do you want to wake up and just live your dreams and be happy and go for it? Like, at the end of the day, fear is just fear. It's not going to kill you. There's nothing worse. And I've experienced this before, of being afraid to do something. And then years later, it just eating at you. I could have did this. I could have done something with this. I could have gone somewhere with it, but I let fear get the best of me. If that's the last thing I've ever said, don't let fear stop you from doing anything that you want to do in this world. Go out there and, like I said earlier, grab the bull by the horns. Don't be afraid. Failure is nothing. It's going to happen 2 billion times in your life. And you just get back up and keep going. But I would rather fail 1,000 times than be sitting on my deathbed, one day going, I never tried to do anything. I never tried to make anything out of anything. I was just too scared to do anything. So, if that's the last thing I would ever say, is just don't be afraid to live the life that you want to live and go for it.
Absolutely fantastic answer. Thank you so much, Michael Anglin. Michael D. Anglin.
Michael
D for Darren.
Darren.
Well, thank you, Michael.
Blessings to you, and thank you very much. I'll see you soon.
Okay, good night.